Welcome to Stab the Dragon Productions for National Bourbon Heritage Month. Coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas on Saturday, September 6, 2025, where I think fall has perhaps arrived, giving us a little bit more rain and some cooler temperatures. 3 days ago is 102 here. Today, 77. September is Bourbon Heritage Month, and this past week was the Bourbon Festival in Kentucky. I'm doing my part by tasting the various Old Granddad expressions. So far, we have looked at the Old Granddad Bonded, and the 114 edition. Today, we're looking at the other bonded, the 7-year. Just the facts. This is a Kentucky straight bourbon, 100 proof, bottled in bond, aged for 7 years with a high rye mash bill for just under $40 here in Fort Worth. Well, some places just over 40. Tasting notes. I got my first ever vanilla in a bourbon right here. Stronger on the nose, but it's there. Plus caramel corn, spices, wood, peanuts, touch of that orange peel. And again, just a touch of that vanilla. For the very first time, I know you're saying, we all taste vanilla in bourbon. This is my first time to taste vanilla in a bourbon. I don't know why. My score was 85. Letter grade, A-. Recommendation, this 7-year bonded priced at about $40. Just does not offer the value of the price, I think. Again, this is the first time I got vanilla, so, that's a good thing. And for that, I'm thankful. But if this were $30 a bottle, I would say it's worth it. But at $40, I really don't expect to buy it again. History. This is a new release by OGD, and it just came out in 2025. But a couple of years ago, Jim Beam made a big splash over their Jim Beam Black Label by putting a 7-year age statement on it. And then Knob Creek Rye has a 7-year age on it as well. But I do think that years ago, that Jim Beam Black Label was an 8-year bourbon. I think so. Several years ago, a lot of bourbon brands were running low on stock, and the bourbon boom was going, and so a lot of age statements disappeared. And now apparently they have caught up. But the bourbon boom is now turning into a bourbon bust. So maybe one of the blessings of that will be we'll see lots more bourbons with good age statements coming out in the near future. So for history, 5 out of 5 points. Bottle, label, and marketing. The bottle is identical. Well, the bottle's identical to the regular bonded, but the label's not. The label is, they resemble each other, but there are clearly some differences here. There's no pick of Basil Hayden on the label, which is odd. I wish they had that. And it features a green 7 in there along with the bonded thing, but it's in different places. The label does not have the black border or green border, that's green, around it. And so, there's a lot of differences here. It does have a nice neck band, though, just kind of like the 114 has a neck band. So, that's a nice touch there. But these differences, I think, are designed to make sure that people don't get the wrong one by mistake. They want to set this one apart from the previous one. And I hope they keep both, really. I don't know what their plans are there. That's a good question, but I don't have the answer there. So for bottle, label, and marketing, the only thing word of mouth in the whiskey community is how I knew. And then I saw it in the stores. So I haven't seen any advertisements or anything for this. But for bottle, label, and marketing, 4 out of 5 points. Appearance. there's no, well, there's a little bit of difference between the two. I think the 7-year looks darker. Pretty sure it's a little bit darker. And compared with the 114, it's about the same. So the 114 and the 7-year have a little bit of darker hue to it. And in the glass, you know, that's a 3. 3 out of 5. It's a nice golden to copper color going on there. So appearance, 3 points. Composition, the formula for OGD is allegedly 63, 27, 10. 63 corn, 27 rye, 10 barley. And I really like that high rye mash bill. The bottled in bond law includes that the whiskey must be at least 4 years old and 100 proof. It can be older than that, obviously, and it can have a higher proof. But usually when you see a BIB bottle, it's going to be 100 proof and no other age statement. This is exceptional in that it gives you additional age statement. Distilled and bottled in Claremont, Kentucky by the Old Granddad Distillery, and this brand is owned by Jim Beam. They are both owned then by Suntory, a Japanese company. So 14 out of 15 points for composition. Now to the nose. And the caramel sweetness, spices, and there's the vanilla. Wow. All you people who've been smelling vanilla in all your bourbons for all these years, power to you. This is one of the best noses for a bourbon I've ever had. 9 out of 10. Really, the only thing higher than this or equal to this is some of the Texas whiskeys that I like and a few scotches. But this is the highest non-Texas whiskey nose I've ever graded. On to the taste. Oh, so for nosing, that's 9 out of 10. Tasting. Still get the caramel corn. I think Cracker Jacks, actually. There you go. So you get the peanut, too. Caramel corn with peanuts, that equals Cracker Jacks. Cheers to Cracker Jacks. Spices from the rye that are excellent. Getting a little bit more wood tannins, I think. And with OGD, I always get just this hint of orange peel. And now I'm getting that touch of vanilla. So really, that is very tasty. 22 out of 25. Mouthfeel, burn, and finish. Mouthfeel is pretty rich, creamy. It does seem a little bit harsher or bolder. When I use the word harsh, that's not a negative in my book. It's to warn other people. All bourbons have a harsh note through them. Some more than others. That this one's got a harsh note, and it's bolder. That's what I like. Okay, but the harshness, the burn, lasts a little bit longer on the finish, but some of that vanilla is hanging around as well. It does burn up into the sinuses a little bit, but most of it's in the mouth and the back of the throat. Goes down in the chest just a tad. And all those burning notes that I get, I like. I like it when it goes up in the sinuses and down the chest. Okay, to me that's a positive. But for some people, because I grew up eating hot, spicy food, and so some people did not, and the burn kind of is too much for them. So just telling you that, there's a significant burn going on here. 14 out of 15 for the mouthfeel, burn, and finish. Now, neat or mixer? I definitely like it neat. But this one, I'm going to make a cocktail. And normally I would make an old-fashioned, but I'm going to try something else. So I'll be right back with that something else. And I've never done this one before, so this may be a disaster. I am back, and I've got a cocktail here that I've never made before. This is known as the Grumpy Old Man. I kid you not. This is perfectly fitting for me. Now, what is in here? You have ginger ale, and I've got Fever Tree ginger ale. Just recently trying this because everybody was recommending it. I've been using Canada Dry, and so everybody said, no, try this. So I'm trying this. And then, of course, there's a lime in there. Actually, that's a half a lime, but I put the juice of the whole lime in there. So that's a lot of lime juice. And then, of course, old granddad. And I put one whole shot in there. And then when I sipped this, it was heavy on the lime, weak on the bourbon. So I added a little bit more bourbon. Cheers. That's pretty good. Okay, that's doable. Particularly, I think this would be great on a warm afternoon. Today's perfect, 77, 78 degrees. So a grumpy old man cocktail works. It's more heavy on the lime juice and the ginger ale. You can just barely taste the bourbon, whereas in an old fashioned, it's bourbon heavy. Okay, so this kind of obscures the bourbon a little bit. I might have to adjust. Maybe I should just use half of a lime. And I use the big limes instead of the little key limes. So that, maybe instead of a whole lime, maybe just half. All right. Now, so neater mixer, 5 out of 5 points. Price, value, and availability. Goody here locally. Had it for $37.99. Specs Liquor did not list it at all on the website. I did not go to the store to check, but Total Wine is where I got this for $39.99. I have seen this also at Liquor King in Fort Worth, but I think that was over $40, maybe $43. So this is almost twice the price of the regular bonded. So if you're doing a serious cost analysis, then I'm not sure this one's going to be worth it. But to kind of determine if it is worth it, I think I don't think it's going to be twice as good, but I think I need to do a blind tasting. So let me pause once again. I've got some blacked out glasses, and we'll do a blind tasting between these two. See if I can even tell a difference. I don't think I'll be able to. And that will be the key to determining its value. So stand by. All right, we're back. And while I had the camera on pause, I gave my wife this cocktail and she sipped it. She said it's okay, pretty good, but not going to be her favorite. And it is a bit too limey. So if you're going to drink, she said if you're going to drink that much lime, it might as well be a margarita. And, I think she's right on that. All right, let's do a blind tasting. I have 2 blacked out glasses. In glass number 1, we have the original bonded. And in glass number 2, we have the 7-year bonded. Now the numbers are marked on the bottom of the glass. You'll be able to see those when I raise the glass to sip. I will not. So my goal is to see if I can determine a difference and choose which one is which. I don't think I'll be able to do this though. I'm skeptical. All right, on the nose, although the nose may give it away. left to right. I'm actually picking up the lime from my fingers. Not getting much of a nose there, but man, I'm getting the lime off my fingers. Tremendous. On the right. I'm thinking the glass on the right is the 7-year. I think this is glass number 2. I don't know if it's my imagination, but I think I'm getting some vanilla. All right, now for the taste, starting on the left because it had the weaker nose. That's good stuff. That's the old granddad bonded. Which one though? Now I go to the one on the right. I'm thinking this is the 7-year. I think this is glass number 2. We'll see. I may be totally wrong. This is very close, but I think I may be imagining it, but I think I'm getting the vanilla from the 7-year here. Is this glass number 2? If so, it's the winner. Nope. Glass number 1. There you go. All right. Glass number 2. Yep. Well, that's what I'm saying. These are so close, I could not tell them apart. Maybe the vanilla was wishful thinking on my part, or maybe there really is some vanilla in the regular bonded that I've been missing all this time. I don't know. But so for price, value, and availability, the availability is going to be spotty. I mean, it's pretty good, but spotty. The value, there's not $20 difference between these two. That's the bottom line. So for price, value, and availability, 6 out of 10. Bonus points. I still like this. Just not the price. The vanilla on the nose was a first for me, though. So 3 out of 5 bonus points, giving me a total score of only 85. Okay, letter grade, though, A-. Very drinkable. I'm just not sure the value's there. So analysis and recommendation. The old granddad bonded 4-year has long been a favorite of mine, and the 114 has been a staple in our house for several years. And these two will remain as staples in the house. Okay, the mash bill, the high rye mash bill, that's just a thing with me, and so these are permanent fixtures here. Now, on the 7-year, I did get vanilla, and that's, you know, normal for most of y'all, but unusual for me. And so this was a bonus, but I'm not sure it's worth $20 extra. If this were a $30 bottle, yeah, I would go for it. I would say it's worth it. But I really don't expect to buy this one again. It's not twice as good as the other. Now, I don't know what Old GD's plans are. If they're going to phase out the other one and just keep this one, that would be a disaster. I'd be disappointed. Maybe those of you with a more refined palate can taste the extra 3 years in this bottle and would consider it worthy. It was worth the $40 to try it once. Right. Now, what I would really be interested in is an 86 or 90 proof. If I got that, I would even pay the same price as I'm paying for the regular bonded. And they used to have an 86 proof. I missed it. That went away before I started drinking bourbon. So there you go. In conclusion, next week I am beginning a historical series on my American Catechism channel, and we'll be introducing the Vikings and what they have to do with America. And the whiskey that I'll be drinking on Monday, if I get to do this Monday, is this one. This is called Stunning Danish Whiskey, and it's 100% rye. And all the way from Denmark, which is home of the Danes, that is Vikings. So this is coming up on Monday, I hope. And then on Thursday, which is going to be 9/11, right? I'm going to do my analysis of the attack on the 9/11 that hit us 24 years ago and where we are now in relation to that attack. And so on that day, I won't be doing a deep dive on this bourbon, but I will be drinking this along with, this is Soldier Valley bourbon, and they are unfortunately out of business. And then at some point, Friday or Saturday next week, I will return to Old Granddad and I think and do the 80 proof. I don't own the 80 proof. I've kind of avoided buying it, but I think I will go ahead and get the 80 proof. And if not that, then I do have Basil Hayden bourbon, and I'm going to stick to the Jim Beam family. All right. Well, this is Stab the Dragon out here.